Okay, welcome back. Where are we? We're at Trinity Point. And this may be the last video that I upload concerning these three little towns for a while, because my enthusiasm for these three places is starting to dim. It's been about 2 weeks since my last episode, and after playing this today for a while, I don't find myself super engaged with it. Anyway, what I will do is I'll probably leave this little area here on the computer, and I can always go back to it at another time, and try and maybe build something here. So let's see, where do we start? Okay, here, Trinity Point. Things are still going very, very well. I'm still gaining lots and lots of high wealth tourists, as you can see. All that kind of pink color there, they're all high wealth people, and the whole place is kind of awash with high wealth people, so that's great. That's bringing me in the money. It's not too high at the moment, but earlier on I was up to 80,000 an hour, which is pretty good. And what else did I want to... Well, yeah, just kind of a sweep through here. I think the power is okay, the water, the sewage, all those things are good. The crime here is still good. I haven't really let this run for very long. 3 crimes a day, 2 criminals at large, that's good. But to be honest, it should be good, because I've got 2. There's one. And right beside it, here's another. I've got 2 big police precincts running. This one's 11,000 an hour. This one's 8,000 an hour. So, you know, place this size, you would expect these figures to be quite low. Education. Can't seem to get everybody educated in this town. I don't know why. When I click on this map, the green is everybody that is educated, that's enrolled, that's going to school. And when you look at the map, I don't see any of that purple color there, so it looks again like everybody's been educated, but the figure says differently. So I don't know, but I built this big tower here too. I'm pretty happy with this place. And I don't think I'd want to do too much more with it. It might be interesting at some point just to let this run and see what happens, because at the moment it's 92% approval rating. Like I said before, I very seldom get past 90. So that's my one good town. Just before I leave, the other thing about here is, you know, just for the achievement of running 3 of these big casinos, that was making 354,000. That was making 300 something. That was making 300. They're all doing very well, and I've got 3 of them here. So that's cool. I've never managed that before. But unfortunately, it's not like that everywhere. Let's go here. This place is bankrupt, and I guess I'm going to have to send money before I'll explain when I get over there, but we just completely ran out of money. So Norwich Hills, I'm going to pay it, let's just keep it going for a little while, 3 million. And this is one of the reasons that I'm a bit fed up, I suppose, because I didn't really want one town to be bailing out another town to be bailing out another town. I mean, at the beginning, Norwich Hills over here was bailing out both of these towns. Now it's swapped around, and Trinity Point is the cash cow bailing out the other towns, because the only town that never seemed to get going very much financially is Clearwater. And I can show Clearwater later on. Way to go, Mayor. So I can carry on here. I literally have just completely run out of money here. The reason for that is because, unlike in Trinity Point, here there is no high wealth people here at all. These casinos they're kind of low wealth casinos, and if you remember the figure I was making in the other place, I was making 350,000 an hour. Well, here, you know, you take away the 300,000 and you get to what the money is here: 37,000, 36, 41. They're all pretty small figures, and it ends up at about 50,000 altogether. I can't remember what Trinity Point was, but the figure here in Trinity Point was maybe 150 to 200,000. It was making a huge amount. Here, no, taxes are up quite high, so it's not breaking even at all. It's financially, it's kind of in meltdown. The reason that is because of the crime. At the moment, it's not looking too bad. I've got 3 crimes committed a day and 8 criminals at large. It's not too bad, but I had to put in another police precinct. So this is almost 8,000. This is nearly 9,000. This is nearly 10,000. So, you know, if we go back to this thing here, we can see that it's 30,000 an hour for all of this. And if I go to the map, just to click on, this is the crime map. You can see all those little blue they've all got like a little police helmet logo. They're all the police, and you can see the place is just awash with police. There's just thousands of police. They're doing pretty well now, and I think they're probably, because when I started playing this afternoon, the figure here was, you know, 10 crimes a day and about 100 criminals at large, and the reason for that was because all the traffic was blocked up. And my very primitive solution to that was basically to bulldoze just a whole rake of high apartment blocks. That's the only thing that I could think of that was going to reduce the traffic, because I had a population here of about 80,000, so I've knocked it down by about half. Because when you have lots of traffic on these roads, nothing moves, and so there is nobody arrested, there is nobody getting to the health clinics, nothing, and everything goes to pieces. Your town just disintegrates. Because if the crime is not taken care of, then people start to leave, the casinos close down. And one of my objectives was to have as low as possible from the very beginning crime, a good education system, a good medical health system, although to be honest, I'm not as obsessive about the health clinics. Now in terms of education, everybody's been educated. I'm going to just speed it up a little bit. Everybody's been educated because, well, I kind of did away with half the population, so it's understandable that with all the places I've got here, I think I've got a pretty big university. I've got a school here, I've got a school down there somewhere. I think I've even got this is a high school. I mean, I've got more than enough schools. I've got enough classes for about 4,000 people. 4,000 people. Yeah, at least probably 5,000 people, and my population is just over 3,000, so there's plenty of room. So in order to get a grip on all that crime, I had to put in another one of these. But unlike Trinity Point, which is making a lot of money from tourism, this place is not really making enough. And so you can see this figure. Well, it's continually way down here, and as I was playing it, this, you know, that stays down. So I closed down one of these precincts, but that didn't help matters at all. In fact, as soon as I closed down one of these places, the crime just started to go through the roof again. And so this place is not sustainable. At least not like this anyway. I mean, I could always go back and start putting in ore mines and coal mines and oil wells if I wanted to. It is a good place to live. I'm getting up, I think when I started this afternoon this was down to about 70%, so I'm moving up quite quickly now that I've got the now that I've got so much police. So that's that place. So obviously this place is not going to be giving money anymore to any of the other towns. And then we go to the final town in the trio, which is Clearwater. And Clearwater has been the one place that's never really been making very much money at all from the beginning. I kept expecting it to kind of turn the corner at some point and you know, really start bringing in the money from all my tourist things here. They're making pretty much double what these casinos are making in Norwich Hills, but it's not enough. They're not covering all the expenses here, and there isn't a huge amount of high wealth here. I mean, it's not too bad, but I think I have put in, have I put in a, I had one of the high wealth casinos here, but it didn't do too well at all. It was just losing money. So at the moment this place is what's the, yeah, we're 89 as well. Again, everybody's pretty happy. Crime is the crime here is very low as well, but once again that's because I'm pretty sure I've probably got I've got one, and I'm pretty sure I put another one in. Yeah, it's over here. So that's a big police precinct. Not as maxed out, so it's 6,000, and this one here, that one's nearly 11,000. So again, places got a lot of policemen driving around. There's another one here. I've got 3 police precincts. So 1, 2, and I've got a smaller police station here. So it's not really any wonder that the crime rate and everything's low. I have got so many police stations. Education wise, it's not too bad, and I do like the the look of this place. And I guess what you could do here is maybe I could put in some more casinos, because over here on the coastline there's probably room for more development over here. I did try to put in the more expensive casinos, but they didn't work too well here. If they did, maybe that's something I could do at some point as well. I could put in a load of those high wealth casinos and see if they'll make some money. But as you can see, this place, it's just losing money as well. It's losing money, and the only way to stop that is to switch off, to cut the budget for the police. And the mega tower, which is the fancy tower behind here, that's losing 1,000 as well. I was saying before that those things, they may work for a while, but actually that one's not, I haven't finished it yet. Maybe if it was finished it would make some money. So at the moment this place is not sustainable either. And that seems to be the thing, you can have a choice. You can make some money and put in lots of casinos, but you're going to have a huge level of crime. It seems very difficult to keep this figure. I mean, it's very good here at the moment. But if I speed this up and this figure stays like that, it's amazing. See, it's just jumped from 20,000 to 40,000, and it's amazing how quickly this money will disappear. And I think I've added another casino here to try and make a bit more money, but both this town and the Norwich Hills well, Norwich Hills was bankrupt, and this place has just about gone bankrupt on about 3 different occasions. So at the moment, really, all the town over here, Trinity Point, all it's doing is keeping these other 2 towns from going bust. As I speak, you can see the money just dropping very quickly. And that's about it. I don't feel sufficiently engaged with this anymore to try other things. I've kind of ran out of interest, to be honest. There's maybe more to be learned about the different types of tourists that go to different places, because the types of people that come here are very different to Trinity Point. Or it could be just it's just a completely glitchy kind of game. But I've succeeded in making some of the expensive hotels run and make a continuous profit, so that's good. I haven't really succeeded in making the 3 towns self-sufficient. They were, right now they're all briefly self-sufficient, but if you let any of these things run for very long, they quickly start to run into difficulties. Except that Trinity Point over there. That's the only one that when it eventually got going, it never really needed a bailout after that, unlike these 2 places. And that's about it. So, like I said, I'll keep these things on my SimCity account thing here. You can kind of leave the cities in a folder, and then you can always go back to them at a later date, because perhaps after a break I may go back and try and do something here. The other huge problem with these places is that if you do try and increase the population anywhere, here it's 82,000, and 82,000 here caused just gridlock. it seems to be okay here, but if you have big populations in all towns, I know I've said all this 100 times, then everything just grinds to a halt, and that's pretty much the end of the towns. But yeah, I may come back at a later date. At the moment, I'm actually looking for I'm looking for some new games that are coming out, new kind of building simulation games. There's one where it's set in space, I can't remember the name of it, and you're part of a colony trying to survive on a Martian planet. A Martian planet? That's not the right thing to say, is it? It looks like Mars, but I don't think it's meant to be Mars. It's just some planet that's got very kind of brown soil, which reminds me of Mars, I guess. Anyway, you're on this landscape, and you have to build various things, look after your fellow astronauts, colonists, and that's a new game. I don't know if it's out to download yet, but this Sims game I'm playing is from 2013, so it's kind of getting a bit long in the tooth now, and even myself, I'm quite obsessed with this game, but I'm getting to the point where I wouldn't mind something new. And although I'm not really a big science fiction kind of person, the idea of building and trying to look after your population on another planet sounds kind of interesting. Otherwise, I wanted to record this because today is the 7th of January, and that is the day I was born. And I wanted to do some kind of recording on that day. I've always had this thing about recording, trying to capture the moment of various times. When I was about 10 years old, I remember writing about the countdown of that particular year, or writing about Christmas. Back in those days, we didn't have anything except I had a kind of a notebook and a pen and a Panasonic cassette player if you were lucky. But even back then, at the age of 10, I always had a thing about recording certain moments, which has kind of stayed with me right up to this very day. So even though I wasn't hugely in the humour for doing SimCity, I just thought it'd be cool just to get a recording done on this particular day, 7th of the 1st, 2017. And at the moment here it's 11:15 at night, so I didn't really have much longer left on the clock to do this. It's going to be the 8th of January in an hour and 15 minutes, which incidentally, that would have been David Bowie's 70th birthday, I believe. I think his birthday is the 8th, same day as Elvis Presley. God knows how old Elvis would have been if he was still with us. Bowie would be 70, and the year anniversary of his death is Tuesday the 10th. So I am pretty listless here. I don't really know what to say anymore about these places. I'm definitely gonna what am I doing? I wanted to go back over to Norwich Hills. I'm definitely gonna leave them now for a while. It's been 2 weeks since the last one, and I am not really enjoying this one, so perhaps. Oh, that's funny. It was nighttime over there, and I must have went into some kind of time warp because it's daytime here. I do like the towns. I mean, I like this town. I like the layout. I like Clearwater and Trinity Point. But you kind of get fed. You get fed up just continually running out of money, and you know, and having a situation like this where you've got thousands of policemen, and it's, well, it ends up kind of being a little bit stupid and irreal. But still, I'm sure I will come back to it at some point. And perhaps do a space station or something in the center here. Where are we here? 90%. See, all the towns are pretty close to 90% now, so it's not a bad place to live, as long as nobody looks at the financial books, because yeah, because 2/3 of this area are all facing economic collapse. And of course, if anything goes wrong in the Trinity Point town, well then, at some point it could easily happen that the money runs out completely. I have black clouds here, and I don't know where that must be coming from, this nuclear plant, because I stopped doing all the polluting kind of industries that I had here. But yeah, that's about as good as I can get this, really. At the moment, one more look across here. So, I mean, even here with that absolute, I mean, it's like a fucking army of policemen, and I'm still, this figure still jumps. It goes down to maybe 2 or 3, and then it can jump up to 30 in about 2 seconds. And in reality, there just shouldn't be any. I mean, you know, there's enough policemen here to literally station themselves outside every house, every building could have 3 policemen outside it, so there should be no place to hide. So on that note, I should say adios, and hopefully the next time I'm uploading something, it may be a different game, something that's contemporary and something that's just coming out literally as I speak. I think that game I'm talking about is kind of roughly estimated that the release would be somewhere between the end of January and the beginning of April or something. I don't know exactly, but that it would be nice for me to turn my attention to something new. I've been playing this game now for years. So until then, on this 7th of January 2017 at, well, here it's 7 minutes to 11, I should say good night.